G'day Jaffa Adventurers, welcome to the channel and welcome to episode number 7 of our epic Queensland coastal and outback journey. Today Jill and I join you from beautiful Porcupine Gorge, and I'll tell you, this is a very unique landscape with its beautiful sandstone, white sandstone riverbed, and then you got this gorgeous red pyramid rocking behind us. So these are the types of places we're going to take you. Let's get stuck into it. Jill and I are doing our morning routine. We each have a cup of coffee.
Mine's empty.
Jill's is empty because she's drank it already. And she's reading her book, and we're just watching the sunrise and watching the kangaroos darting up and down the riverbed, which is pretty cute. I love this time of day too. This is my second favorite time of day.
After the early evening.
Early evening, yeah.
Late afternoon.
The hour before sunset. We got a reasonably big driving day today. We got about 250 kilometers of dirt, which is reasonably big in our books. I'm sure lots of people do 1,000-kilometer days without blinking, but that's not us.
Your stomach is just growling and growling.
It's going, feed me! We're going for a run around the loop track through Dalrymple National Park. Check out the other campsites. This is the four-wheel drive access track down to the river. We're not going to go down there, we don't have any reason to. But if you did, that's how you get down there. And that's about halfway between Camp 1 and Camp 2. Get you out onto the riverbed, you can run over there I guess and do some fishing. Here's something unusual we spotted as we were driving out the park. I don't know whether it's an actual grave or whether it's just in memoriam to, but that wasn't anything we were expecting.
No, it does say in memory of.
Yeah, it does. And there's beautiful little daisy guys along here too. This is campsite number 4. It's probably the second best one, and the reason being is that it's got flowing water right here, so it's actually got some rapids, which is pretty cool. The disadvantage with this one is it's all bollarded off, so you can't get your car back here. You've got to park out there on the road itself.
On their little loop road.
Yes, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but you'd have the river rapids sort of lulling you to sleep.
Take the chairs down and sit down there.
Yeah, for sure.
We wouldn't.
We would have. This is the day use area. Again, it's beside the rapids, but interestingly enough, there's not even a picnic table here. So you'd have to be pretty self-sufficient to be using it for the day. Beautiful park though, eh, hun? Like totally unexpected. You've got 4 campsites in total in the park, which is awesome. There are massive distances between each other, so you're never in anybody's face.
And they're all completely different than each other.
They are, and they're all pretty special. So real cool. Little hidden gem here at Dalrymple. Our next stop was Porcupine Gorge, which is an easy bitumen run through Charters Towers. Rather than taking the easy route, however, we chose to run down the dirt on the Myola Road. Taking the road less traveled paid off big time for us because we experienced some amazing sights, which we'll share with you now.
We're driving down the road, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, cows. And then I look, and amongst the cows is a camel. That's very cool. Hello, camel. Hello, cows. He probably thinks he's a cow. Termite mounds and cow tracks. There's brown ant hills and red ant hills due to the changing soil.
While on the Myola Road, we came across a small dam that was clearly there to support grazing cattle. What was surprising was a large flock of black swans taking up residence. Being born in Canada, where swans are white, the striking black is oddly out of place to our eyes, but stunningly beautiful. The Australian outback never ceases to surprise and delight us. We took a little four-wheel drive track off the main road and found this lovely little picnic lunch spot on the Basalt River. I'm sure it's on private property, but we're not going to leave any footprint. We'll just make ourselves some lunch and move on. But just a stunning spot. Too bad we didn't have smell-o-vision because these gum trees smell beautiful. This is kind of cool. There's just a random pile of rocks about 200 meters or so from where we're having our picnic. So what do you do when you see a random pile of rocks? You climb it, don't you? There's the riverbed through the trees. And there's another random pile of rocks behind this random pile of rocks. Awesome, awesome bit of country. What's for lunch, Hunban? Ooh. Ooh, yummy. Okay, gotta shut the camera off so I can pick out. We're just leaving our little picnic spot on the Basalt River. Just jagged it by following a little four-wheel drive track down that ran parallel to the river. Here's our little track. Still got about an hour, probably 2 hours to get to Porcupine Gorge. Well, we've come off our secondary roads and we're on the highway. This is the Kennedy Developmental Highway. And we are about 80 kilometers north of Porcupine Gorge. Well, there's nothing particularly flash about the Porcupine Gorge camp area, but the gorge itself and the walk, that's a different story. This is the camping area at Porcupine Gorge. Pretty typical. They got a fire ring. They got 2 lawn chairs. They got one wife. We're on the tent site. They've got these elevated little pads, I guess, that they filled up with gravel. And I think there's about 22 sites here. And we did hear from a couple of people that we were talking to that said the place was booked out. They tried to book here and it was booked out for 3 days. So if you think you can just front up and grab a site, think again. It's a bitumen road all the way in, so you can get in here with anything. There's the gorge access tract, 1.1k away. And this is what the gorge looks like. Gorgeous, hardy har har. That's pretty cool down there, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There's actually water in the creek. I'd say this is the start of the gorge access track because it goes zoink straight down. Here we are, we made it down to the base of the gorge. Very cool. Tip we got from one of the walkers was go to the base of the pyramid because there's a really lovely swimming hole there. So that's what we'll do. Just spectacular with these white sandstone. These giant round holes cut out from swirling stones as well. Very cool. This is an absolutely amazing place. I've never walked anywhere like this before. This white sandstone and these towering red rocks. Really cool. And there's the plunge pool at the base of the pyramid. Pyramid in the background here. Just beautiful. So here we are at Porcupine Gorge. We're near Pyramid Rock, and look at this. And no, that's not a bubble butt. Jill has got her pockets full of rocks. She's collecting these rocks because she was a geologist in a past life or something, but every pretty, sparkly, unique stone she has to collect. And she just shot an intro video of me doing an intro for Jaffa Adventures, and my penance was to carry a couple of these rocks out in a backpack. So how terrible is that?
It's great. I like it.
We're at Pyramid Rock now. You want to continue to walk down the gorge and see what we can find? Let's do it.
Okay.
There's Jill standing at a pile of rubbish that's washed down here. And look at the size of it compared to her. Obviously in the wet, it pumps through here. There's a pig melon. We've walked down about a kilometer past Pyramid Hill, downstream of Pyramid Hill, and just beautiful. It's a really deep plunge pool here, which would be awesome for a swim.
Tons of fish.
Jill's in the red room. That means something to her, but not to me. What does it mean, hun?
Murder.
Oh, red rum, red rum. Well, it's a time to turn around in Porcupine Gorge, isn't it, hun?
Mm-hmm.
But my goodness, what a stunning walk.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
Highly recommend that to anybody who wants to take it on.
Hey.
It's the following morning and we've left camp and we've come down the road a few kilometers towards Hewenden, and there's a lookout about 2 kilometers off the road, and this is a proper gorge. It is seriously big, but the video will not do it justice for 2 reasons. 1, because it never does, and 2, because of the direction of the sun. So Jill What would your recommendation be for somebody who's doing the walk at Pyramid Rock?
I would say we left at about 1:45. Go then. You've missed the morning rush and you beat the afternoon rush, and we had the place to ourselves.
Cool. Any other reasons?
Yes, that's when the sun is just full on the pyramid.
Yeah, very cool. All right, there you have it, folks. Recommendation. Well, we've distance warped from Porcupine Gorge, and now we are traveling west towards Charters Towers, and our destination is White Rocks National Park. And in front of us is one of the perils of outback driving, and that is one big ass road train. This guy's a triple bunger, actually. So once we get a straight stretch of road, we'll overtake him. But the third trailer on these things tends to swing a lot, especially in really windy conditions. So you just have to be very, very careful and make sure the guy knows you're behind him as well. Of course, the alternative is you can sit behind him, but we're doing about 80 kilometers an hour at the moment, so I'd rather not. I'd rather get by him.
And another peril is the wind crack and the chip in the windscreen there.
Yep, exactly. They like to chuck rocks, so you have to be aware of that too. There he's indicating for us to go past. Road train driver, safe travels. Bye now. All right, we've just hit the turn off to White Mountain National Park, and I've dropped a pin on the map because it is not on either of our HEMA or VMS iTopo maps.
The access road, yeah.
We tried to get into it through Torrens Creek, which is where the roads are actually marked, and there was a no-go. There were fences blocking everything. So if you didn't know this sucker was here, you'd blow past it.
It's way further east than it showed on the map. It's actually in the national park.
Yeah, it's about 16 kilometers east of Torrens Creek.
The smell of the wattles here is incredible. We're on the road on our way into White Mountain National Park, and beside the road, just outside the national park, is just an amazing number of wattles.
We've turned off the main Cairns Creek camping area track, and we're on a track to Saw Pit Lookout. Again, nothing's marked on the maps, so it's a bit random. Well, we're at Saw Pit Gorge Lookout. Jill's making some lunch at the moment. And I suspect that's where the White Mountains National Park gets its name from. These little white mountains. We're on the Cairns Creek Camp track, and here we are, Cairns Camp Creek camping area. And I would hazard a guess that this would be Cairns Creek. Looks like a pit toilet and a little information hut in there. Number 2.
Essentially just a back-end spot.
Yeah, it looks
each of them are just a rectangle.
Yeah.
Fire pit at the side.
Exactly, yeah.
But it says no fires right now.
And there's number 8. That's ours. This is probably the pick of them from a size perspective.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Ours is the biggest, definitely.
Yeah, it's actually got some shade.
And a leftover wood.
And a leftover log. What do you want to do? Go out to Poison Creek?
Yeah, let's go have a look.
Let's go have a look. We're still on the track to Poison Creek. That's actually on Torrens Creek. And apparently Torrens Creek is the most northerly creek that flows into Lake Eyre. which is a pretty cool fact. It's been a pretty easy drive. You definitely would want a four-wheel drive because you need the clearance, but the track's been pretty easy. We're averaging 30 kilometers an hour probably.
Just filming camel tracks. We've been seeing camel poo and seen some camel tracks all through the park. See how big they are. I'll put my foot next to one.
Still on our Torrens Creek track, or our Poison Creek track, and we just passed a whole bunch of grass trees, and I just wanted to get them on video, but we might have passed our little ecosystem.
They're still on my side.
Oh yeah, there are a few still.
Yeah, there was a big section. I think there's a lot of different ecosystems in here. Oh, there's a lot of grass trees on the left.
Yeah, there was a little stand there. Xanthorrhea australis, one of my favorite plants. We're nearing the Torrens Creek end of the track now, and it's got substantially rougher. Proper four-wheel driving now. Yeah, it looks like we've got a pretty decent washout here. With a little bit of a bypass track. Here's the old truck. It's parked up at the old station, I guess it was, here at Torrens Creek. They've done well to get this in here, and she's been here a while. The fuel tanks have been cut open and caged over. Tires are flat. She ain't going nowhere. Her final resting place. Kind of sad, really. The old long drop. That's not a place that Jill would like to frequent. Spiders, she believes, and anything else that can get you. There's an old slab, and I think this was poured after the building had gone up, because on the edges here you can see that it's convoluted like corrugated iron. Not sure what that structure was for, but no doubt had a purpose. Whatever was here is definitely slowly getting returned to the earth, and I would suspect it'll only take one bushfire to come through here and wipe this place off the map. Kind of sad and lonely when you think about it. Somebody or some people put an awful lot of effort putting this all together, and for whatever reason it didn't work out for them. It would be fascinating to know their story, that's for sure. There is this Torrens Creek campsite marked on the map. Now, it's not marked on the National Park map, but it's marked on our HEMA maps. So I think this is where we'll call it quits and pull up for the evening. Pretty amazing little rock face and gorge area here. Somebody's bloody knots and crosses all over it. Dickheads. There's a fallen tree here in the riverbed with the most interesting yellow bark. Really cool. Their days might be numbered.
This is the last puddle, and there's fish in here.
Coming over to you. What you doing, hun?
Reading a book and staying out of the heat.
Having a beer. Where are we?
We are at the far end of Poison Creek or Torrens Creek.
Indeed, and it's a lovely spot, and there's no other bugger here. But we'll plead.
Someone else just camped here, I think, on the long weekend. There's marshmallow sticks and leftover wood.
Yeah, these sticks here beside Jill have gooey marshmallows on the end of them, so you're dead right. Somebody has camped here very, very recently.
Today's a Monday and it was a long weekend, so.
That could be it. And apart from the gooey marshmallow sticks, they have actually kept it reasonably clean. No toilet paper.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Here's the hill we're driving up tomorrow. Quite steep, but again, cameras don't show anything. But I'm struggling to walk up it. How's this for a serene setting?
Wonderful.
Jill's taking photos of phantoms in her phone, which is pretty freaky. And I'm sitting here stoking the fire, basically. But it's a lovely, lovely spot. And we've got it all to ourselves. Good night, everybody.